Hi, it's Sue. Thanks for joining me for today's Bible reading. It is the reading for August 27th, and I'm reading Jeremiah 51 and 52 today. Verse 1. Yahweh says, Behold, I will raise up against Babylon and against those who dwell in Leb-Kamai a destroying wind. I will send to Babylon strangers who will winnow her. They will empty her land, for in the day of trouble they will be against her all around. Against him who bends, let the archer bend his bow. Also against him who lifts himself up in his coat of mail. Don't spare her young men. Utterly destroy all her army. They will fall down slain in the land of the Chaldeans and thrust through in her streets. For Israel is not forsaken, nor Judah by his God, by Yahweh of armies, though their land is full of guilt against the Holy One of Israel. Flee out of the middle of Babylon, everyone save his own life. Don't be cut off in her iniquity, for it is the time of Yahweh's vengeance. He will render to her a recompense. Babylon has been a golden cup in Yahweh's hand, who made all the earth drunk. The nations have drunk of her wine, therefore the nations have gone mad. Babylon has suddenly fallen, has been destroyed. Wail for her. Take balm for her pain. Perhaps she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let's each go to his own country, for her judgment reaches to heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies. Yahweh has produced our righteousness. Come, and let's declare in Zion the work of Yahweh our God. Make the arrows sharp, hold the shields firmly. Yahweh has stirred up the spirit of the kings of the Medes, because his purpose is against Babylon to destroy it, for it is the vengeance of Yahweh, the vengeance of his temple. Set up a standard against the walls of Babylon. Make the watch strong. Set the watchmen and prepare the ambushes. For Yahweh has both purposed and done that which he spoke concerning the inhabitants of Babylon. You who dwell on many waters, abundant in treasures, your end has come, the measure of your covetousness. Yahweh of armies has sworn by himself, saying, Surely I will fill you with men, as with the cankerworm, and they will lift up a shout against you. He has made the earth by his power, he has established the world by his wisdom. By his understanding he has stretched out the heavens. When he utters his voice, there is a roar of waters in the heavens, and he causes the vapors to ascend from the ends of the earth. He makes lightning for the rain, and brings the wind out of his treasuries. Every man, every man has become brutish without knowledge. Every goldsmith is disappointed by his image, for his molten image is falsehood, and there is no breath in them. They are vanity, a work of delusion. In the time of their visitation they will perish. The portion of Jacob is not like these, for he is the former of all things. So in other words, their molten images, their idol gods made of wood and stone, etc., are going to fail them when they need it, because they're nothing. They're like leaning on a broken cane. They're a cloud without rain. But it says, the portion of Jacob is not like these, for he is the former of all things, including the tribe of his inheritance. Yahweh of armies is his name. You are my battle axe and weapons of war. With you I will break the nations into pieces. With you I will destroy kingdoms. With you I will break in pieces the horse and his rider. With you I will break in pieces the chariot and him who rides therein. With you I will break in pieces man and woman. With you I will break in pieces the old man and the youth. With you I will break in pieces the young man and the virgin. With you I will break in pieces the shepherd of his flock. With you I will break in pieces the farmer and his yoke. With you I will break in pieces governors and deputies. I will render to Babylon and to all the inhabitants of Chaldea all their evil that they have done in Zion in your sight, says Yahweh. Behold, I am against you, destroying mountain, says Yahweh, which destroys all the earth. I will stretch out my hand on you, roll you down from the rocks, and will make you a burned mountain. They won't take a cornerstone from you, nor a stone for foundations, but you will be desolate forever, says Yahweh. Set up a standard in the land, blow the trumpet among the nations, prepare the nations against her, call together against her the kingdoms of Ararat, Mini, and Ashkenaz. Appoint a marshal against her. Cause the horses to come up as the rough cankerworm. Prepare against her the nations, the king of the Medes, its governors, and all its deputies, and all the land of their dominion. The land trembles and is in pain, for the purposes of Yahweh against Babylon stand, to make the land of Babylon a desolation without inhabitant. The mighty men of Babylon have stopped fighting. They remain in their strongholds. Their might has failed. They have become as women. Her dwelling places are set on fire. Her bars are broken. One runner will be to meet another, and one messenger to meet another, to show the king of Babylon that his city is taken on every quarter. So the passages are seized. They have burned the seeds with fire. They have burned the reeds with fire. The men of war are frightened. For Yahweh of armies, the God of Israel, says, the daughter of Babylon is like a threshing floor at the time when it is trodden. Yet a little while, and the time of harvest comes for her. Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, has devoured me. He has crushed me. He has made me an empty vessel. He has, like a monster, swallowed me up. He has filled his mouth with my delicacies. He has cast me out. May the violence done to me and to my flesh be on Babylon, the inhabitant of Zion will say, and may my blood be on the inhabitants of Chaldea, will Jerusalem say. Therefore Yahweh says, behold, I will plead your cause and will take vengeance for you. I will dry up her sea and make her fountain dry. Babylon will become heaps, a dwelling place for jackals, an astonishment and a hissing without inhabitation. Without inhabitant. So let me see if I can articulate this thought. You tend to wonder, like, why did God use Babylon against Judah and then turn around and punish Babylon for that? But I would say that, Judah opened the door for this destruction and Babylon took advantage of it because they're evil. So, them taking advantage of an evil opportunity and being so wicked, they had already sown their own seeds of iniquity to have the consequences of their behavior. And so had Judah. But God also has given his word to protect and watch over the people of Israel forever, and the land of Israel forever. For a reason, for purposes, for the purpose of the gospel and eternal redemption. So you really have to see the big picture, I guess, to understand this seeming contradiction. All right, verse 39. When they are heated, I will make the feast, and I will make them drunk, that they may rejoice and sleep a perpetual sleep and not wake up, says Yahweh. I will bring them down like the lambs to the slaughter, like rams with male goats. How Shishak is taken, how the praise of the whole earth is seized, how Babylon has become a desolation among the nations. The sea has come up on Babylon. She is covered with the multitude of its waves. Her cities have become a desolation, a dry land and a desert, a land in which no man dwells. So you see here the things that come. Let's just put it this way, when the blessing of God is removed. You have natural disaster, you have pestilence, you have famine, you have fire, you have lightnings, you have drought, you have war, dissension. Verse 44, I will execute judgment on Bel in Babylon, that's Bel, and I will bring out of his mouth that which he has swallowed up. The nations will not flow any more to him. Yes, the wall of Babylon will fall. My people go away from the middle of her, and each of you save yourselves from Yahweh's fierce anger. Don't let your heart faint. Don't fear for the news that will be heard in the land. For news will come 1 year, and after that, in another year, news will come, and violence in the land, ruler against ruler. Therefore, behold, the days come that I will execute judgment on the engraved images of Babylon, and her whole land will be confounded. All her slain will fall in the middle of her. Then the heavens and the earth and all that is therein will sing for joy over Babylon. For the destroyers will come to her from the north, says Yahweh. As Babylon has caused the slain of Israel to fall, so the slain of all the land will fall at Babylon. You who have escaped the sword, go. Don't stand still. Remember Yahweh from afar, and let Jerusalem come into your mind. We are confounded because we have heard reproach. Confusion has covered our faces, for strangers have come into the sanctuaries of Yahweh's house. Therefore, behold, the days come, says Yahweh, that I will execute judgment on her engraved images, and through all her land the wounded will groan. Though Babylon should mount up to the sky, and though she should fortify the height of her strength, sounds like the Tower of Babel, yet destroyers will come to her from me, says Yahweh. The sound of a cry comes from Babylon, and of great destruction from the land of the Chaldeans. For Yahweh lays Babylon waste and destroys out of her the great voice. Their waves roar like many waters. The noise of their voices is uttered. For the destroyer has come on her, even on Babylon. Her mighty men are taken. Their bows are broken in pieces. For Yahweh is a God of retribution. He will surely repay. See, there's God's perfect justice again. I will make her princes, her wise men, her governors, her deputies, and her mighty men drunk. They will sleep a perpetual sleep and not wake up, says the king, whose name is Yahweh of armies. Yahweh of armies says, the wide walls of Babylon will be utterly overthrown. Her high gates will be burned with fire. The people will labor for vanity, and the nations for the fire, and they will be weary. The word which Jeremiah the prophet commanded Seraiah the son of Neriah, the son of Messiah, when he went with Zedekiah the king of Judah to Babylon, in the 4th year of his reign. Now Seraiah was chief quartermaster. Jeremiah wrote in the book all the evil that should come on Babylon, even all these words that are written concerning Babylon. Jeremiah said to Seraiah, when you come to Babylon, then see that you read all these words and say, Yahweh, you have spoken concerning this place to cut it off, that no one will dwell in it, neither man nor animal, and that it will be desolate forever. It will be when you have finished reading the book that you should bind a stone to it and cast it in the middle of the Euphrates. Then you should say, thus will Babylon sink and will not rise again because of the evil that I will bring on her, and they will be weary. Thus far are the words of Jeremiah. Now that is interesting because it seemed important that he took the message to Babylon, and that it was spoken and executed, that prophetic act of throwing the rock, that it was executed in a certain location. Chapter 52, verse 1. Zedekiah was 21 years old when he began to reign. He reigned 11 years in Jerusalem, and his mother's name was Hamutal, the daughter of Jeremiah of Libnah. He did that which was evil in Yahweh's sight, according to all that Jehoiakim had done. For through Yahweh's anger, this happened in Jerusalem and Judah until he had cast them out from his presence. Zedekiah rebelled against the king of Babylon. In the 9th year of his reign, in the 10th month, in the 10th day of the month, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came, he and all his army, against Jerusalem, and encamped against it, and they built forts against it round about. So the city was besieged to the 11th year of King Zedekiah. In the 4th month, in the 9th day of the month, the famine was severe in the city, so that there was no bread for the people of the land. Then a breach was made in the city, and all the men of war fled, and went out of the city by night by the way of which the gate between the two walls, which was by the king's garden. Now the Chaldeans were against the city all around. The men of war went toward the Arabah, but the army of the Chaldeans pursued the king and overtook Zedekiah in the plains of Jericho, and all his army was scattered from him. Then they took the king and carried him up to the king of Babylon to Riblah in the land of Hamath, and he pronounced judgment on him. The king of Babylon killed the sons of Zedekiah before his eyes. He also killed all the princes of Judah in Riblah. He put out the eyes of Zedekiah, and the king of Babylon bound him in fetters and carried him to Babylon and put him in prison until the day of his death. Now in the 5th month, in the 10th day of the month, which was the 19th year of King Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, who stood before the king of Babylon, came into Jerusalem. He burned Yahweh's house and the king's house and all the houses of Jerusalem, even every great house he burned with fire. All the army of the Chaldeans who were with the captain of the guard broke down all the walls of Jerusalem all around. Then Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, carried away captive of the poorest of the people and the residue of the people who were left in the city. Those who fell away, who fell to the king of Babylon, and the residue of the multitude. But Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, left of the poorest of the land to be vineyard keepers and farmers. The Chaldeans broke the pillars of bronze that were in Yahweh's house, and the bases and the bronze sea that were in Yahweh's house in pieces, and carried all of their bronze to Babylon. They also took away the pots, the shovels, the snuffers, the basins, the spoons, and all the vessels of the bronze with which they ministered. The captain of the guard took away the cups, the fire pans, the basins, the pots, the lampstands, the spoons, and the bowls, that which was of gold in gold, and that which was of silver in silver. They took the 2 pillars, the 1 sea, and the 12 bronze bowls that were under the bases, which King Solomon had made for Yahweh's house. The bronze of all these vessels was without weight, As for the pillars, the height of one pillar was 18 cubits, and the line of 12 cubits encircled it, and its thickness was 4 fingers. It was hollow. A capital of bronze was on it, and the height of the one capital was 5 cubits, which is, let's look at that real quick. The length from the tip of the middle finger to the elbow on a man's arm are about 18 inches, 46 centimeters. With the network of pomegranates on the capital all around, all the bronze and the second pillar also had like these and pomegranates. There were 96 pomegranates on the sides. All the pomegranates were 100 on the network all around. The captain of the guard took Sariah the chief priest and Zephaniah the second priest and 3 keepers of the threshold. And out of the city he took an officer who was set over the men of war, and 7 men of those who saw the king's face, who were found in the city, and the scribe of the captain of the army, who mustered the people of the land, and 60 men of the people of the land, who were found in the middle of the city. Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, took them and brought them to the king of Babylon in Riblah. The king of Babylon struck them and put them to death at Riblah in the land of Hamath. So Judah was carried away captive out of his land. This is the number of the people whom Nebuchadnezzar carried away captive in the 7th year, 3,023 Jews. In the 18th year of Nebuchadnezzar, he carried away captive from Jerusalem 832 persons. In the 23rd year of Nebuchadnezzar, Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, carried away captive of the Jews 745 people. All the people were 4,600. Not sure I get that math. Verse 31. In the 37th year of the captivity of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, in the 12th month, in the 25th day of the month, Evil-Merodach, king of Babylon, in the 1st year of his reign, lifted up the head off of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, and released him from prison. He spoke kindly of him, and set his throne above the throne of the kings who were with him in Babylon, and changed his prison garments. Jehoiakim ate bread before him continually all the days of his life. For his allowance, there was a continual allowance given him by the king of Babylon, every day a portion until the day of his death, all the days of his life. Wasn't that interesting? That's another one with a kind of like a retirement plan. And it doesn't explain much about it here in this section. So, yeah, that's it. That's it for today's reading. Thanks for joining me. God bless you. Till next time.